Ladies and gentlemen, this is our final boarding call and the doors will be closing soon. Please board quickly and safely. Our monorail will be departing momentarily. Thank you.
Hey, my little pumpkins, I'm S.Dan Wolf. Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you get a quick second, because I love checking my little YouTube dashboard and seeing my little subscribers go up a few people every day. It's a fun thing to check on, and if you think I deserved it, give me a like on this video when we're through. And today's topic is transport rides. With Planet Coaster, we originally had 9 transport rides. You had the gondola, the chairlift, the people mover, the monorail, 2 steamboat variations, 2 steam train variations, and a tour bus. Now, S.Dan did not really have a beef with, any of the transport rides. If the only thing is, I would say I'd like to have a little more variation. I would hope that that's what comes with a Planet Coaster 2. Particularly, my buddy Elizabeth, Levi Coaster, said that she saw some of these little tiny Europa Park, almost like little pod monorails. And that is kind of what I'm talking about. I would love, not just me, hyper fantasy, no budget, but I think some of the realistic players, the Swiss Creations, the Bro Nation, Mass Bandit, Geekism, I think all of those guys would benefit from out-of-park transportation, meaning if they would give us some more of these smaller options to move the crowds from the parking lot into the park, I don't think they would go idle. Like, that wouldn't be a waste of development resources. I 100% guarantee if Bro Nation and that huge sector of the Planet Universe community had a way to tell those stories, like getting people efficiently from their cars or from tram stations into the park, or essentially over to security, over to the park gates, that would 100% be utilized. I would even do that. Like, I would put so much more focus and attention on beyond the gates and the parking lots, into moving the guests inward towards security and towards the ticket office if we just had a few more options. My buddy Mineral replied to one of my tweets just a little bit ago with a very, very cool looking kind of like suspended monorail. Would definitely love that. Let me just make sure, somebody else also even advocated for that. Oh yes, Mr. Simside said, and this kind of ties in with Mineral, the smaller monorail from Planet Zoo could also be a nice addition. And remember that one, it is like a little, it's not suspended, but it's like a little compact monorail. That would be really, really cool. Maybe for like say you were building a resort inside of your property, or a resort connected to the property, like via Tokyo Disneyland or Disneyland Paris. Those type of little smaller monorails would be really cool to get people like from the upper level of the resort, maybe across the park, and have a little station over there. And it's one of those things where it's like a resort guest only type of amenity. Those would be really, really cool. Eftel Theming said, I just hope they fix the bugs with the current transportation ride. So Eftel is hoping that the problems that some people had faced with the original Planet Coaster transport rides have been fixed and do not make their way over to the sequel. Austin said, I want a more generic version of the Sky Ride / gondola, like at Cedar Point. I think that's a really good point too. A lot of people would like that. That goes hand in hand with more of these realistic builds, moving the crowds. I am 100% for that. Advocates of G-Manster said, great topic. Need more gondola cars, retro, train variations, smaller engines, Jackson Sharp cars, Jungle Cruise boats, and the monorails. Like, he gave me a little example here, bigger capacity yet small still. And I think that is kind of what's neat about what we have in Planet Zoo with the smaller monorail. They still pack a pretty good bit of people in them, but they're not like these 6, 7, 8 length long monorail trains. They are very, very kind of short, and they get like right to the point, very efficiently in moving people. And then, of course, J Ash said, I've said it once. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. If there is no Von Sky Roll bucket, I will be extremely disappointed. I had actually never heard of a Von Roll Sky bucket, and I went and looked it up when he sent me that message, and those things they look pretty freaking cool. They're almost like a retro Disneyland-ish type of bucket sky lift. So don't think like Disney Skyliner. Think of these more of like an enclosed pod where 4 or 5 people can set in them, like almost in a circular, like a bucket, not like a large gondola with bench seating. I think that looks really, really cool as well. And you know, Mr. Gomez said, why not make a vid of that? I need all the content I can get right now. So if you guys don't end up liking this video, blame it on Mr. Gomez. He was the one that said about 2 hours ago I needed to jump in and make this. But you know, I think that anything that can improve upon Planet Coaster, and not, what's the right word? Not just like kind of overloading us with variations. I think hopefully that's the way they go. And you know, not to say like the variations in the original Planet Coaster were a bad thing, but you know, the Connie Express, that was a really good kind of like homage to the Disneyland Railroad, and it was kind of close to Sam Denny's heart. I believe he designed that and named that after his grandma, I believe. So that one was really cool. I like the design of the Iron Horse. Not really 100% necessary, but you know, it was cool to just have that variation. And you know, I'm kind of like, it's almost like one of those Planet Zoo things where we get a new animal, but it's basically the reskin of an animal we already have. I don't want to go down that road and get people upset. But, you know, I'm sure they have some interesting things in store for us. And I want to hear what, well, you know, with the steamboats, I kind of think, you know, one was kind of on a rail. The other one was in like an actual like a river rapid type of bottom. You know, a little cheeky, but, you know, it is what it is. But I would really like to know, what do you think could be added to the game as far as transport rides go that we are not thinking of? I hadn't got a chance to watch Planet Frontierland's whole video yet. I believe it's George over on his channel did a video on transport rides about 2 weeks ago, and he's really, really interested in what the transport rides are going to entail for us, and so am I. That is one thing I want to do, is take it more serious, kind of like No Name Landia serious, kind of like how Mike and Mass Bandit, Redline, Ruble Trillions, John T. I want to take it as serious as they do, particularly with the steam engines, and having that outside border, really having, I just think it's so, it wasn't as important to me in Planet Coaster, and I think it should have been. But what we were talking about with the last video, just that kinetic energy of a theme park, I think the steam trains lend themselves so well to just bring in that bit of nostalgia, bring in the, you know, park lore. And like the first thing I want to do when we get to Dollywood is head straight back to the steam engine, the Cinderella, you know, jump on that big Klondike Katy or Cinderella, like 1940s steam engines they have back there. That's like the first thing I want to do. I love anything theme park transportation. It interests me. Love the Disney World monorails. Would love to get out to Disneyland one of these days and ride their monorail, particularly with how it weaves through the park like it does, more essentially like an actual ride over, like, you know, with Walt Disney World, you have the Ticket and Transportation Center. You literally have to take that to the Magic Kingdom or jump on the boat. And, you know, I just, when I was out in Las Vegas, we had a few hours. I kind of wish I would have rented a car and drove over to Anaheim and experienced that, but I did not get a chance to. But Casey and I are talking about maybe one of these years putting together a little package and taking a flight out there. For me, it's like a 5.5 hour flight, I believe. So, definitely not the end of the world flying to Japan type stuff, but would love to get out there and experience that monorail as it, kind of weaves its way and makes its way around Disneyland. But I digress, guys. I wanted to get this thought out there and keep this discussion going in the comments section on specifically what type of transport rides would you like to see? Would you like real trams? Remember, that's not been a thing. The tour bus was kind of like, remember, we got that with the studio pack, and you could essentially fake parking lot trams, but I would like an actual people moving tram system, in a Planet Coaster 2. So that'll be interesting to like, how do they approach fake parking? How do they approach vehicles getting people into the park? They've had 8 years to see how important that is to particularly realistic builders. And I would just like to see what kind of spin are they going to put on Planet Coaster 2 transportation. So you guys let me know down below, and I will read your comments, and we'll be checking in. And thank you guys. Please stand away from the monorail doors. We are exiting out of here. Thanks, guys. Catch you next time.